G'day listeners and welcome back to another episode of the Keeper League podcast. We're the AFL Fantasy podcast that doesn't talk about the superstars. We only talk about the less knowns and the players who are going to bring value to your draft and Keeper League teams. My name's Hef and this week I am joined by Damon Adams, the commissioner of the DT Shiva competition. How you going, mate?
Oh, just glad to be back, Hef. Cheers. Holiday beers for all, yeah.
School holiday beers from when it used to be school holidays for me.
Well, and still for me now.
Yeah. I find school holidays harder these days because the kids are actually home.
It kind of works for me, but this is my off season, which is about to end.
but that's good to hear. Back to work next week, but we've got plenty of time for AFL Fantasy and draft and Keeper League related content in between now and then. The DT Shiva competition has gone from strength to strength in the last few years since you've taken it over. Lots of record numbers last year, right?
Huge. 828 coaches from around the world. It's really kind of grown into a bit of a monster now, which is fantastic. You know, if you're someone that kind of yearns for community of AFL Fantasy coaches, I know that your Discord channel provides a lot for the Keeper League players, but, you know, if you're someone that's competitive and just wants to get around like-minded people, this is the biggest draft competition of its kind in the country.
The community-based stuff in AFL Fantasy is like the reason why we play.
I think.
Yeah. Especially, I've usually got like a league with my mates, and they're the ones we heap shit on. I've got another dynasty with another group of mates, so it's like the thing that ties us all together as well. But the Shiva is awesome for people I never would have kind of gotten to know, spoken to, like never met these people in person actually,
for sure.
But there's still a group chat that goes all the time and still keeps chatting. Plus, like, there's all these familiar names that you see through probably doing this podcast as well, but then also through the Shiva community that keep popping up that you see. You feel like you know these people even though you've probably never met them before.
Mate,
it's amazing.
I've done this for 13 years and genuinely have met people that I now count as very close friends. I've been to weddings and, you know, it is just another pathway. You think as an adult it's tricky to make new adult friends. It's
100%.
a great way to do it. And, you know, for those people that are just looking for a competitive draft league that are done with the classic stuff, but don't necessarily have 9 or 11 mates that they can roust out for it, we provide all of that for you. It's a ready-made community that runs its own draft events, podcasts. It's got a weekly newsletter. It's got social. It's got its own Discord channel. It's all there built in.
Yep.
So you pay your fee for the year. You get put in a division of 11 other people and you fight out prizes for each and every league, but you've got wider competition prizes as well, weekly top scorers. There's a knockout competition. There really are so many arms to Shiva now that it just provides entertainment right from the get-go for the entire year. If it's something that you're interested in, registration's open Feb 1st, run through the entire month. If you're new to Shiva, the sooner you get in, the higher you are in the rankings system because it's division by division, promotion and relegation.
But there are opportunities to get up higher. We won't go into it too much. But
there are ways that you can ladders the competition for sure. Yeah. You won your league
I'm in the Champions League this year.
So
I'm very excited for that.
There's a Champions League on the side that will promote you up if you win that this year. There is, so much happening. So, registration's open Feb 1. If you want to check it out, DT Shiva on Facebook is one way to do it. You can email me with any questions at dtshivacommish, that's COMMISH, at gmail.com for any questions. We're excited to get things started for another huge year.
Oh, I'm excited to play again. The other thing that's probably underrated with these sort of competitions is the cash prizes as well. Like that was I wasn't planning on that. Like I'd kind of forgotten they even existed. And when it came around after winning, finishing top in my league and then winning the premiership in the end as well, that little cash prize that comes through was pretty handy.
Just a little offshoot for your good work last year, Hoofers.
Sometimes, like I notice in the Discord and all that sort of stuff, like when they're creating leagues and things like that, people can be a bit dodgy about paying their league fees, or they never end up getting their prize money, even though they win it and committal season, all that sort of stuff. Shiva, you don't have to worry about any of that. It's great. And then,
we are roll gold. We're absolutely legitimate. This has been running now. This is the 14th year of Shiva. You can take it from the 828 coaches that play last year. This is completely legit. Check it out. All the rules are at dtshiva.com.au. So much to come out over the next couple of weeks.
Now, I'm a bit of a seasoned professional here, so I'm going to put a little segue in here.
Oh,
now,
go.
Seg it up. So the DT Shiva is run on the Keeper Fantasy platform. And I'd like to mention that the Keeper Fantasy platform is back for 2026. It's been open for ages, actually. It's probably just like the first time we've actually mentioned on here. But
Ryan is a genius. And I got to say, we put a lot of trust in him last year. And that man delivered in spades. We couldn't have been happier with the product. And we know that this is a guy that is continuing to iterate, and he listens to the community and just gets stuff done. And it's just getting better and better.
100%. So like people that don't know what the Keeper Fantasy platform is, whether you're new to this podcast or you're new to kind of fantasy draft in general, in my opinion, it is the best fantasy platform. I don't even know if that's probably, my opinion is probably objectively.
It's not controversial at all.
Objectively, it probably is the best the draft fantasy platform out there. It's just built specifically for serious players, serious coaches, serious draft and keeper leagues. And yeah, basically the draft rooms are now open. So people are already drafting on this platform and creating their teams, which is miles ahead of all the other ones. But the thing that struck me the most is there's this kind of improved draft room this season.
I can't wait to see it.
Spent a lot of time.
Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I've seen it in action. I can actually have a bit of a backdoor look at it. I've had a bit of a behind the scenes look at a few things. And yeah, it's very, very impressive. So like, you can chat now during the draft.
Great.
So like, you can just heap shit on people. If you're not in the same room, like that's a massive thing, I think. Like usually I'm in a room with everyone else, but it is kind of good fun if, Shiva, if you got people in other parts of the country or whatever.
Excellent.
You can all jump on there and have a go. But there's better queue control, so, auto picking and stuff like that, or just building the lists that you want to players you want to pick and all that sort of stuff.
For those guys that have to be forced to auto draft on that day.
Yeah, correct. But the other kind of features as well, like you can have like priority picks and stuff now for your leagues. Like if there's a guy that's been bottom for 3 years, you can give him an extra pick. Good luck convincing the rest of your league to get one of them.
With keeper leagues, every now and then you're going to have a seasoned player that drops out that's got a shit squad, and you just need to do something to even that out a little bit.
Correct. But like the whole thing, like, it is a draft app, but it's kind of built for the keeper league form. That's why we love it so much here. There's just so much long-term thinking, and it's designed for leagues that just run year to year, just not one-off drafts as well. Mind you, it is very good for just one-off drafts like the Shiva single season stuff as well. But yeah, it's just trusted by, I guess, people like the Shiva community, people like me. That's where I run my leagues. And I think that's pretty telling because we're pretty serious players. And, I've not heard a single, especially in the Discord and stuff like that, everyone just loves the Keeper Fantasy platform.
The fact for Keeper League coaches that have done this year after year, the fact that you get to display all your achievements, hang shit on the guy that's got 5 wooden spoons. And even though Shiva is single year drafting, Ryan has specifically created things for Shiva that show stats and records and things like that. So there is a homepage just for Shiva as an offshoot to that. So yeah, we couldn't be happier.
Yeah, correct. It's a community-minded platform made for the most serious fantasy coaches out there. So if you haven't done it yet, check it out at keeperfantasy.com. There's a link in the description below if you want easy access to get there. My favorite part about it so far is that there's already ADP up on the site.
That's crazy to me.
I know.
The fact that I saw Ryan posting about changes to the ADP week by week, mid-January.
Yeah.
Like Jake Lloyd's gone down 20 positions just in this last week.
But the other thing that's so awesome about it is I'm not sure if the other fantasy platforms are like that, but that ADP is league type specific.
Yeah,
so if you're in a keeper league, you get keeper league ADP. You don't get mismatch of all the different drafts that go on. You get only keeper leagues. So you can see that Harry Sheasel is the number 1 pick, where Bont's probably the number 1 pick in another league.
Dyson Sharp's going to go very early in a keeper league, whereas it's not in a single year.
It's so handy, especially for people like me. I get a good gauge of what people are doing. I can see it. And if you're signed up and you're a member of that, you can just go and see it now because it's all on your league page. So I love it at the moment. Anyways,
so good.
We're going to get into the show in a second. I will finish all the plugs in a sec. Just want to mention that I put out my AFL Fantasy ranking spreadsheet and Supercoach ranking spreadsheet. So if you're an existing member, you can go into the website, go to Premium Resources, go to spreadsheets. You can get access to those. I haven't done a launch for the Supercoach one, like a post, but it's there. If you want it, it's on the website, especially if you're an existing member, you can just go grab it. The community ranking tool where you pick your you get 3 players and you pick which one you draft first. That's out, and that forms a good list of ranks, for the community out there to use, and gives you a gauge of what the general AFL Fantasy keeper league coaches thinking?
Yeah, I know people aren't drafting yet, but one thing I know a lot of leagues are doing is people are locking in their keepers. A lot of leagues have got their deadlines coming up for you've got to hold these players. Those ranking spreadsheets that you provide, great resource to kind of go, I'm in a league of 10 with 15 keepers each. Does this player fall within the top 150? Who am I investing in?
Or am I going way too high on this guy?
That's why that's such an invaluable tool. So if you haven't done it yet, definitely check it out.
100%. Yeah, it's like, see, the thing is, like, I build these things to help myself. Like,
but everyone in your league, you fuck yourself with it as well.
It does screw me over a bit. But so these are the reasons why I built these things, so I could use them. You know what I mean?
Professionally great, personally awful.
Yeah, and then you give them to everyone else to use as well. So like, I use these things to kind of make my decisions as well. So like, it's, it makes sense to be using them out there. And then also the Breakout Tracker launched last week. But anyway, let's get into the show. This week we're talking about midfielders. Midfielders there, I did some data actually, or did some tracking of some stats. I looked up the top, the percentage, like the top 20% of each of scorers at each line. And because I was kind of debating, like, are midfielders still the best kind of value fantasy scorers because they roll a lot deeper than else. And I was thinking maybe the numbers are just kind of, inflated because there's more good midfielders than there are at other positions. But yeah, midfielders still are the best kind of scorers in terms of the top 20% of positions. And then it kind of falls away a lot for forwards, which is probably no surprise. Defenders are climbing though. Defenders, like the top 20% of defenders are getting up there with some of the best midfielders, but that's kind of including Harry Sheasel from last year and all that sort of stuff as well. So it changes. It'd be interesting to see at the end of this year, but that's just a few different things. So I say that midfielders are boring, and because they kind of are, because they're kind of easy to spot. But you need to have good ones, and they are a bit trickier to kind of roll a little bit deep. I always find M7 a very hard position to fill on field. So
your leagues often demand extra midfielders to draft and to hold throughout the year. So to figure out these low-end undervalued players is so critical to your draft strategy.
So that's what we're here to do today. We're trying to find you some of those M5, 6, 7 kind of guys. So.
I will say this, that I've been in off-season mode. I'm going to be relying on your expertise. I am but a mirror. I will pose questions, but the expertise comes from Hef.
Oh, yeah. Well, wait to say, it's more people just messaging me stuff, I think, is probably at this point of year.
Excellent.
But yeah, and telling me to read articles and looking at tweets and stuff like that. But so I'll thank those people out there. I wouldn't call that Hef expertise, though. Anyway, let's get to the first one. Sam Durham. He averaged 78.4 in 2025. Have you seen pictures of him in the off-season?
Just the guns?
Huge guns. That's got, like, if fantasy points came from your guns, like from your pipes, I reckon you'd be 100-plus average kind of guy. But I don't know, looking at this kind of physical shift for him, do you think he's got another level in him, or is he the kind of high 70s kind of guy? He's only 24 years old, and he was a late pick as well.
You have to wonder where the shift with Essendon comes now. I mean, obviously, the huge story at the back end of last year was Zach Merritt trying to get out. He's lost the captaincy now. Do they change his role? Like, in the games late last year, Merritt was being played pretty much everywhere but the midfield. It was kind of in off the back end, and there was a lot of speculation about, are they just doing that because he's on the move? And now he's not. So does that reset itself? Does he go back in? It's a real grey area for me.
I 100% agree, because like, if you're Essendon, you want to start developing on kids and focusing on players that do want to be there.
100%.
But you also want his trade value to be high at the end of the year.
Yeah. And you cannot do what you did with Merritt in the last 6 weeks for an entire year.
Correct. Well, they wanted 3 first-round picks for him, and that was the only thing they were going to trade him for. And if you kind of make him...
If you
devalue him like that, he's not going to be... You're never going to get those 3 picks. So you kind of need to play in the midfield. So that said, I still think Sam Durham does have just like another 5 points in him.
Yeah.
like from a
high 80s
development.
At best.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So like, again, if you're rolling a guy like Durham at your M5 or 6 position, you'd be pretty happy with that, I think.
You're not seeing the 100 breakout.
No, I don't think so either. But yeah, I think that you might just see like into too good for the podcast territory this season with an 80 average. That's all. The next undervalued guy is James Worpel. He's averaged 73.8 last season in 2025. Does he get the new club bump, the mythical new club bump?
Where do you see him as a player? Defensive midfielder?
Yeah, in the VFL maybe.
I mean, because, Tom Atkins was that tackle beast for Geelong last year, and he played that role so well. You can't push Atkins out.
No, you can't. That's the thing.
I mean, Atkins is
Didn't Atkins
30,
break the
31?
30, I reckon.
Yeah.
Did he break the tackle record or something last year?
It would have gone close.
Yeah, he's like the same guy. When you think of Holmes, when you think of Bailey Smith in there as well, like he's going to be fourth best at best, and I still think there's probably better. There's probably someone I'm missing in there as well. That could kind of come in there as well. Like I've got the feeling that Warple was going to be depth at any club he was going to be, and Geelong just offered him more money.
5 on the bench, you can see him getting into the team on a week-by-week basis.
Correct.
But in terms of a dominant role in the midfield, I can't see it.
I agree. I'm putting a line through Warple. I've had him on my team every season, I think, since he started. But I think he's
had a couple of great seasons along the stretch.
100%. The only thing that might save him, does he go back to that mid-forward role that he played earlier in his career?
There's just so many of them there.
Correct, yeah. I don't see it happening. A lot of people have asked about Hayden Young. Actually, the guy called Hayden Bolger, 99, in the comments today, asking, do we feel Hayden Young can get back to his 90 mark kind of average? What do you think?
What's so interesting about Fremantle is there was so much criticism on the way that their defenders used the ball last year. Great for fantasy because you're getting guys like Luke Ryan who'll often bob up for a huge 100. Jordan Clark had some big games. There's guys there that can rack the ball. But even though Jordan Clark is a great defensive attacking player, they didn't really do it a lot.
Yeah.
Hayden Young, pre-Hayden Young, was the guy that would be able to break the lines and go from halfback up forward.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's shown that he can do that from a mid-forward role as well, but is that where he's best kept? Do they go back to what they know he can do? Is he fit enough to do it?
To answer the question, I guess, the 90-plus mark, I don't know about 90-plus, but I think around the 90 he is capable of. Yeah. It's just like you said, he's a defensively minded guy. So when he goes into the midfield, he's a defensively minded midfield. And you're playing behind guys like Sarong, you're playing guys like Brayshaw, who are more kind of, I guess Sarong gets more tackles, Brayshaw gets more possessions, all that sort of stuff.
And those two are never going to move out of those positions.
And so you're always going to be behind those two. And so Hayden Young's more likely going to be playing like that defensive role, which doesn't lend its well to huge fantasy scoring. So I think if you get 90, like you're doing well with him, definitely think you can get back to like an 80, kind of one of those, inside mids, those defensively minded mids who might go forward to do a job on someone on halfback or something like that for a game and be incredibly frustrating. But I think he'll kind of round it out and be that kind of 80 to mid 80 kind of guy long term.
He's a really interesting player because I think given his performance in 2025, he's going to be put back into the draft pools of a lot of keeper leagues. And the variance for where he's picked up is going to be huge league to league as well. That ADP is, I think, probably going to go all over the place in the next couple of weeks. So going to be really interesting to see what the preseason news is about him and where his role's going to go. Yeah,
100%. All right, let's move on to... I don't even know why I've got these guys in here, but Ollie Florent. Another kind of new club bump kind of guy. The thing with Ollie Florent, I've kind of got to have him in here just because he's one of those players that have moved and people are kind of chatting about it. But I don't see him anything other than a winger, do you?
Well, Carlton have plenty of options in that midfield anyway.
Yeah, that's it. He's not going inside. There was a season where he played the halfback and it was pretty nice. Yeah. But... yeah, I just don't see that happening there either.
It's not a name that excites me at all.
The thing at Carlton, I think we talked about this on the last week's podcast about the prospect of Ollie Hollands going back to the wing. They're missing a lot of wingers. They don't have a lot of outside runners. And you saw it last year. Sorry, they've got a few, but they've got no quality ones, And we saw it last year. They played so many players on that wing. They played Matthew Cottrell. They played Cooper Lord out there. They played... the younger Camporeale, they're twins, the Camporeale, the outside one, not Ben.
Lucas got a lot of time.
That's the one, Lucas. There's a few that they've played. They tried some outside types on those wings. They dropped Blake Acres because they weren't giving him enough, Yeah. It seems to be a real area of concern for him, and it just looks like they've targeted a winger in this draft, in this trade period, and I think they've got one, but I just don't think he's worth considering for fantasy, that's all.
Yeah, very, very deep at best.
Yeah, correct. Now, Will Brodie, being Port supporters here, didn't get a game last season. I had heard some good word from a source that I trust who has access to people at Port Adelaide, that he's purely recruited for depth and depth only.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
The pro argument for him is that obviously he had his best season under Josh Carr when he was a Fremantle midfield coach.
That makes sense, yeah. Good.
And now Josh Carr's come over as the head coach and he's recruited him. And one of the big knocks on Port is the complete lack of depth that our squad has.
Yeah. That was shown last year. As soon as someone got injured, like we just had no one coming up.
Jackson Mead got so many games.
Yeah, correct.
So many games. Does it mean that Will Brodie's going to revert to the great Will Brodie he was when he got his 4-year contract at Fremantle? I don't think so. I think he's going to be a waiver ride all year.
Yeah, so do I. Like when he gets a game, when someone gets injured, he'll come in and go, okay. Like, for example, I think Ollie Wines is missing the first 2 games of the season from a suspension, I think. So he might even play round 1, you know what I mean? But yeah, we'll have to wait and see because I just don't think he sticks around.
And if he plays round 1, you also got to take into account that the fixture for Port over those first 4 or 5 weeks is pretty generous.
And also the classic hype will be big.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
so,
yeah.
But yeah, I would proceed with caution for sure.
Nah, I agree. The next one on my list is Elliot Yeo. Didn't play in last season, but apparently...
He didn't play 1 game.
Oh, well, he's got the average of 0 next to his name, so I assumed. So, do you think he can... You can't trust him for fitness, but when he plays, he's going to score okay, yeah?
Oh, he's been great when he's hit the field over the last couple of years. West Coast, again, it's this, what's their philosophy for the year? Are they just going to blood young people? We've heard a lot of news over the last week that Tom McCarthy's going to be spending a lot of time in the midfield, which is really exciting. Is it worth them, putting Elliot Yeo into the midfield when he's back? Just put him on a cushy half-back role. He may score okay, but yeah, you couldn't draft him early with any confidence at all. He is a round 20 and beyond pick.
We actually had a question. We'll get to it now, actually. We'll scroll down. But from Mortarded, he wants to know what West Coast's midfield lineup looks like. Because I think the big question for him is that he wants to know if someone like Dev Robertson gets a game in that midfield. And stuff like that. So I was trying to think of what their midfield actually looked like. And it would be, like for me, like obviously Willem Dersma comes in. He'll go straight in. I feel like they'll really want to give games and more time to Elijah Hewitt. I think I actually saw in my CBA numbers that Elijah Hewitt was the second most used midfielder last season.
Jeez, really?
Yeah, because it's just such a spread. Like I think he was like 57% or something like that.
Just a real smattering.
Yeah. I think Jack Graham still pinch hits. I think Hoff goes in there a little bit. Like, yeah, there's quite a few.
Harley Reid's going to have his...
Harley Reid's going to break out, I reckon.
CBAs,
yeah. So I legit think Harley Reid's going to actually have a big season this year. So,
I did see that. I saw the TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. So, so that's a few that I think do get a gig in there. So, Yo will be fine if he plays. Like, he'll be 80 plus, no worries, and that's pretty handy to have. And someone who's contending in your keeper league will pick him up very, very late and get a good average out of him when he plays. You know what I mean?
If you do draft him, if he plays 1 game that's good, trade that man.
Yeah, hell yeah. Do that.
Get some value.
Sell high, yeah. Even if you're actually bottom of the ladder, pick him up and sell it to the contender or something for anything. Anyways, we might move on to the breakouts. First one on the list is Jagger Smith.
Oh, get excited, people.
Well, there are a few people, like I've seen on the internet lately and on X and that sort of stuff, there's a bit of talk about him playing some halfback. There's a few match sims and stuff that are coming out this pretty soon, so we'll have to kind of take some notes for that. But yeah, a bit of word that he is playing halfback. It's kind of like I've kind of haven't seen it anywhere concrete yet, but I've just heard a few whispers that.
Can you remind me of his junior fantasy numbers?
Massive. Like
Huge.
The biggest. I can't remember exactly what they are, but they were the biggest out of the draft year.
But just delicious.
Yeah, he was the hype player and the kind of hype fantasy style of play as well, that style of play.
I can remember like Christian Petracca was a similar case study where he came into his first year and was pretty much wiped out with an ACL injury.
Yeah, correct.
And then obviously went on to be a fantastic
I think it took
fantasy
Petracca
option.
even longer. Like I think it took him like a couple years to actually get on the
interesting.
park. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it will be a grower, not a shower, but, I mean, hey, aren't we all lads? But, yeah, so exciting.
Yeah, no, I cannot wait to see him. Wherever he plays, like I think there might be a bit of a case where they do ease him in a little bit.
Yeah.
And he might not hit the heights that people want in
No,
2026.
yeah, certainly what people drafted him at pre-ACL last year.
Yeah.
You can't have that same expectation.
But long term, like he's going in top 100, I think, in all ADPs and stuff like that for
In a
keeper league.
Yeah, that's such an interesting question. In a fresh keeper league, where does he go?
Yeah, in my eyes, I think he goes around the kind of pick 50 round 5 type thing.
Okay.
Is where I would take him. I think that's where I've got him in my ranks at the moment. I can actually probably look it up here on Keeper because we have the numbers. His ADP is still 107 at the moment, which I think is kind of high. Maybe just because he's still got the long-term injury next to his name or something there. But yeah, I reckon I'd be taking him around probably 50, 60, that kind of range.
Yeah, interesting. Inside the top 5 rounds.
Yeah, in there. Because, I don't know, if you look every year, like players like, Levi Ashcroft went around that last year. And
already, showing green shoots.
Yeah, exactly. So in some leagues, he was even going around the 30 mark, and I reckon he's going to have a similar trajectory, I reckon.
And over the run of the last, these last 7-8 years, those fantasy numbers of those, real high prospects, even the guys like Matt Rao, who was such a high prospect and then dipped, has now come back to the fold. Like, there hasn't been too many cases where the numbers show someone that's going to be spectacular and they've been an utter dud.
I think, Jagger Smith, I just even if he doesn't break out this year, he's going to be a gun, so don't stress too much.
Yeah.
It just might take a year or two. All right, let's go to Ned Long.
I love Ned Long.
I don't mind Ned Long. Just a good story, at Hawthorn, couldn't get a game.
Just a battler.
Edison came back. Averaged 77 in 2025, but he had 400 plus scores, I think you added here. Is that right?
Yeah, I like the ceiling. So 132, he had a 3-game stretch where it was like 132, 100.
Yeah.
So he really showed the chops. Dipped late in the year. I think he had 2 sub-50 scores in the last 4 weeks, which brought the average down. So I think really he's an 80 plus already.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if you look at the numbers and what he's able to produce, he can go at that 80 plus range. The way I look at it, I think he's the midfielder that Collingwood need. Given that, Pendle's side bottom, De Goey's almost 30 plus, that sort of stuff. He's that kind of next in and under contested stoppage kind of guy. Dish it, give it to Nick Dacos.
He's a perfect foil for Dacos. You need the rough and ready to hand off to the silk.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he's that guy. Plus, he'll get 4 or 5 tackles a game, being at the bottom of the packs as well. So again, don't think he's got he does. You've shown he does have the ceiling. I don't know if it's going to be a consistent kind of 100 plus kind of guy, but 80 plus comfortably, I think he's capable of.
Classic, unsexy, but real fun pick.
Yeah, correct. You classic, M5 to 7 range.
Perfect.
Levi Ashcroft.
Bit more sexy. He's got the blonde locks.
I think he'll go 80 plus this season easy, right? He did 74 last season.
My only caveat to this is...
Deep midfield?
Real deep midfield. You're Annabelle on that kind of list as well. You got a few guys coming in. It gets more and more clogged. It's that they haven't lost anyone.
Yeah, my thoughts is I reckon that Brisbane are going to start planning for life after Lachie Neale.
Okay.
Because I think he's gone at the end of the year, especially if the missus takes the kids back to Perth.
Well, she's already done it.
Well, there you go. He's going to he might even be one of those players that really struggles this year.
He's 33 already. It's not like he's closer to the end.
And they'll be cashing in on... there'll be a Freo that either want to take him to kind of add some experience as they go for a flag tilt.
Or just some marketing.
Or there'll be a West Coast team that take him to help them develop their kids and, maybe even a coaching thing afterwards.
He can get a good 2-year deal at the end of his career.
I reckon one of those things is going to happen. He won't be at Brisbane. And I think that Brisbane will use this year to really start trying to push people like Levi. I'm way higher on Daniel Arnable now because of this as well. Since all the off-season stuff's happened. So I reckon that, we'll see less of Lachie Neale and start seeing more of some of these.
It's a great narrative. I love it.
So I think Levi Ashcroft easily goes 80 plus this year. So you don't really have to talk about him though. Everyone knows who he is. Everyone's going to be drafting him early, so it doesn't really matter. Someone that people might not know as much about is Kane McAuliffe.
Okay, talk to me about Kane.
So he was one of my favourites in his draft year. I think it was about 2-3 years ago. I think this is his 3rd season he's coming into. But later pickup, I think it's around the 40 mark, but had some of the best fantasy numbers out of the draft crop. And it was more to do with his tackle numbers and his contested sort of stuff. But then came in for only the 5 games last year before he got injured and went 53, 86, 94, 55 and 80, so to finish with that 73.6 average. Then he had a quad injury that kind of kept him out for the rest of the season. But so he's shown some good signs. Secret sound in the background. Ding, 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 ding. You guess what it is. Call in now. I think that it's the Richmond midfield is the factor. There's just so many quality young kids that are coming through that midfield that because he's not the superstar, because he's that
They're going to have to settle on something.
Yeah, correct. But I do think he's the kind of like Ned Long. He's the kind of guy that will complement all the class,
Yeah.
the flash, the silk. He's that kind of in and under guy that kind of replaces your Hopper and your Prestia when they get on in their careers as well. I think probably going to see the end of Prestia this year. Not that he's in each week, but Hopper's still 28, you know what I mean? And can't be that kind of in and under kind of guy forever as well.
So, okay, 80?
Oh, not this season. I think probably shouldn't be in the breakout section if he doesn't go 80. If he plays every game, I reckon he can push to an 80 kind of average towards the end of the game.
M6, M7?
Yeah,
Okay.
sort of thing. Might be more of a stash, but I reckon he should go in the 70s again if he plays every game. That's for sure. Does George Wardlaw ever make it as a fantasy scorer?
I've already seen you neg this guy on social media, mate.
Only because I pumped him up for 2 years.
Again, he just doesn't have the body for it, right? At least doesn't seem to.
But then again, you look at the fantasy players in front of him. If Shiva was going to that midfield,
Yeah.
LDU's going in front of him. He's the in and under guy.
He
that
is.
averages 80. You know, like
He kind of, he does the hard stuff, but he doesn't have the body of someone like a Zach Butters to just
take it.
do that week after week.
Yeah, I agree. So I think he does go around the 80 mark, but I think people have got to get used to the fact that he might not be a 100+ ceiling guy.
The hardest part is the ceiling is almost inconsequential, because if you're drafting a guy that you are confident he's going to miss 8 to 10 games a season, that's such a hamstring on anything you're trying to do. Even if he starts the season fit, you have to expect that Wardlaw's going to miss a chunk of games.
Yeah, I agree. Caveat to that though, this LDU was like that for such a long time, and then came back.
Yeah, he had one good season.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he's kind of annoying. I think, and again, I think they're kind of similar players in that vein as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I still think,
and it could be proven wrong. Like, he could get the body together and put together a ripping.
yeah, I do think he goes 80+ this year if he kind of puts it all together. But,
He just strikes me as one of those guys, and LDU is a great example, that he, throughout his career, will be, a really highly rated player, but from a fantasy perspective, we'll get to the end of his career and we'll see 1 or 2 great years, and that is it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Harley Reid, mentioned him earlier. I think he's going to break out this year. I was ready to write him off before that last month.
In a lot of single season leagues, he was on the waivers.
Yeah, 100%. And that 66 average, it didn't actually improve on his first season average.
Yeah, crazy.
It's exactly
it was
the
so
same.
low
And
earlier in the year.
I only saved it from his last month. He went 97, 103, 117, and then the last game he got injured. I think it was pretty low. But this year, I reckon, is the year. If Yo can stay in there, give him support, Dersmar comes in, another quality mid that they're going to pay attention to. I think he can kind of bring it to that next level and at least go an 80+ this year.
Can you look back and notice any particular changes that led to that scoring uptick?
Nah, not really, to be honest. But that said, I haven't actually paid close attention to West Coast.
Hard games to watch.
Yeah. I think there were a few things I think they were using players like Baker and stuff in the midfield a lot more. Then he kind of settled half back and kind of just rode with him as their number one mid.
Tim Kelly was in
for a
and
lot
out.
more. Yeah, exactly. They brought him out. There's a few players that have just kind of gone in and out, and they kind of just persisted with him as the main guy.
Yeah.
I think that probably was the big factor in there.
Maybe just trying to build up enough of a tank to be able to do it throughout
sometimes
the 4
just
quarters.
clicks as well, I've been playing AFL for a season and a half now. Now it's time to get going, and it does happen to some.
Is this a contract year for him?
I think he signed last year, so he's there for another 2. I
okay.
think. Yeah, it was a big deal because they thought he was going to go back.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dan Curtin.
This man has got some hype.
People are frothing over Dan Curtin right now.
Is it classic game hype or is it just hype?
I don't know if it's classic because that 65 average is an awkward price, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't play it enough.
Yeah, no, I don't really focus on it until later in the year, but I think it's just hype in general. But
you watch video of this guy and it's genuinely exciting. Sickening for a Port Adelaide supporter, but great if you just... Yeah.
The preseason footage that comes out, it looks great, but again, you're playing against yourself. You're not going 100%.
But if you looked at this guy last year, classic Richo vibes, and he was kind of floating between, or even Justin Westhoff vibes, floating between defence and forward, just seemed to be like a gap filler, but just had the body for it.
Yeah. I think this year, though, he's going to play bulk midfield, because if you look at their kind of off-season strategy, they kind of made no secret of it that they wanted to recruit a midfielder in the trade period, but couldn't get it done. They had Petrarca coming to town. I think they looked at Oliver as well.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it done. So I think they're going to promote from within, and they're going to build Curtin into this next guy in their midfield, I reckon.
Well, Jordan Dawson's the lock.
And
Saligo, I would have said, was the secondary lock,
Yeah.
but even he didn't have a great season.
Yeah.
And you just got to start looking beyond guys like your Matt Crouches and your Sam Berries. You got to push them off to the side. Like, surely Curtin is the future.
I think so as well. And like, it's a bit annoying because like you probably should have got some forward status out of him. Like, it would have been nice. Or
one of those
one of
players.
those kind of years. But you got mid only. But
He didn't play enough defense or enough forward to make it count.
And like, to be fair, like I don't know if he's actually again going to be one of those ceiling players as well. Like, because they could use him to do a few different roles that will stifle his average from year to year. I think
Super
as well.
coach?
Maybe, yeah, it could be one of those players. But yeah, like I still think he's an 80+ quality type in
65
AFL Fantasy.
seems unders for what the boy looks capable
Yeah,
of.
I agree.
I think he'll be one of those real bolters on draft day. If
Yeah,
you want
same.
him, you're going to have to go early.
Because there's going to be hype.
Because, and he's probably going to go in front of where he should.
Yep, I think so too. Harvey Langford is another one that's getting a lot of hype, mainly just because of the midfield changes at Melbourne.
Yeah.
Do you think he becomes the main man, or do you reckon they lean on Viney and Steele? To do
I don't
a lot
know.
of heavy lifting?
I don't know enough. Yeah, like how much are they going to lean on Jack Steele? He seemed like such a late afterthought acquisition during the draft period. So, what is their strategy there? Obviously, they've lost Petrarca, but he was real-time split mid-forward anyway. You've got a few of those guys, where's Caleb Windsor? I know you'd want to talk about Lindsay as well. Like, where do all those pieces fit? I don't know.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Like, it's hard. I don't know, like throwing a second-year player to the Wolves like that at a team that's going to struggle.
They're going to get beaten around.
It's always fraught with danger, Like, I know many people want Harvey Langford, and he showed the signs to break out, but I think if you're smart as a coach, if you're Stephen King, that you let Steele and you let Viney do a bulk share of the heavy lifting and you
Cop the
still ease
hits.
him in a bit more, and it might result in him scoring a bit less, but he'll be better for it long term.
Yeah.
Than putting him in there as the main man and watching him struggle and, suffer from that psychologically as well.
Certainly got the class. The class is there.
100%. So, like, I definitely think he's going to be a good player, and I think he can push his average if he's given the right opportunity. It's just I'm not sure if the opportunity will come behind those players, that's all.
For a play like this, what I love is that the coach that owns him already in a keeper league there may be a point of frustration throughout the year.
Yeah.
This expectation versus reality thing.
Yeah.
Start targeting. That's when you started get under their skin. Oh, what's the Langford worth?
Yeah, that's a good play, yeah, actually. And just thinking about that with a few players in that kind of range as well. We'll move on. Cam McKenzie's become very relevant in my eyes in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
Because no secret, Hawthorn chased a midfielder at the trade table, tried to get Merritt, didn't make it happen. So it already looked like they were going to have to bring someone up this season to kind of come in and plug a few holes that they'd kind of identified. And there's talk of Weddle being that guy.
Surely not.
No, I don't think so. I think it's like I said last week, he's too valuable in other positions for them. He's their Mr. Fix-It. And then now with Will Day going down, it's starting to look mighty thin.
It's such a shit story, but from your perspective, it opens up so many interesting implications.
Also, from my perspective, I traded him for a packet of chips a few years ago. So I'm more than happy to watch him go down.
Vindication.
Well, it's part of the reason. I think the trade was I traded Day for Daniel Rich in his last or second last season. But like mainly because this was my thinking though. Like I figured he's injury prone, and I thought that no way they'd ever expose him to a full-time inside midfield role because he's made of tissue paper, essentially. And I thought he'd just be like a winger or something for his career. And that was my rationale for trading him.
Which doesn't seem unfounded.
No, well, yeah, and I still think that might happen. I think they might just give up on the whole inside mid thing and kind
I
of let
saw
him
some
sit
criticism
somewhere.
of Hawthorn yesterday, like, why would you put this injury-prone guy into, contact training? What was he meant to do? To sit on the
correct.
sidelines for
Wait
the whole
until
time?
round one to get injured.
Yeah, like fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
like
no.
the guy just needs to test, is he up to it? And if he's not up to it, like he gets injured in different ways
It's a better
as well.
time to do it than, round one in a cutthroat game and
100%.
losing a man on the
Ridiculous.
field type thing. Anyway, so
Sorry,
I think
tangent.
Cam McKenzie could be the guy that kind of steps up, I think. And it's kind of it's almost now or never for him, I think, as well. So
And, I mean, Josh Ward's got to be
That's
able
the
to
other one.
offshoot to that as well, right?
yeah, surprised actually. I should have had him in. But yeah, like 75 average last season as well. And now that this happened, like they kind of need one of these guys to actually step up, him and Josh Ward.
It's time.
Yeah, 100%. And that last one I've got is Xavier Lindsay. Just reasoning is he should play on the half-back line this season. That's all the talk. At the moment, that's where he played his junior footy, played his best footy, apparently, and that's where he put up the good fantasy numbers.
Jake Boy's out for like 6 months.
That's the other thing.
When did that injury happen? Maybe 4 months?
Yeah, he might be out for 4 months this season, but I don't think
Liz Frank, so he's not doing a lot of running. I don't think that's going to take a lot of time.
When they're sitting bottom 4 as well, I don't think they'll be rushing him back for the season either. So
was he taking kickouts last year, Lindsay?
Yeah, not high. I think Bowie was the main guy.
Maybe that's a great opportunity to just boost that scoring this year.
It should actually, see a bit of a scoring bump if he does start.
And I know Salem's back there as well, and he's kind of the fancy at the moment. But if they're looking to develop, that's the way to do it.
Interesting. He didn't take a single kick in.
Not one
last season.
Terrible call.
Yeah. Stephen, no,
damn you statistics.
No, it's a good call because he could get some this year, and that'll hugely boost his average if he does.
Yeah, that's
so. And Stephen May and Bowie were the most at 80. Was that 81% of all the kick-ins?
Yeah, I mean, Stephen May, man.
Well, they're both probably not playing. That's the thing. Well, they told him to explore his options.
Yeah.
And then Judd McVie took another 2%. So there's pretty much like 82% of the kick-ins to go around out there.
There you go.
So it's a pretty
Open
good
that door up.
Pretty good avenue for Lindsay there. All right, let's move on to some of the stash options. First one I got on my list is Clay Hall.
I'm done with him already.
Sounds like a structure, a Clay, a country town meeting place.
Oh, Clay Hall, I had a smoky for a couple of years. I've already sent him back. He's gone.
The only reason I've got him is his waffle numbers are probably the biggest out of like a lot of juniors that do play in the waffle.
Is he still killing it?
105.2 average last
God.
season. And then in the senior team when he played, he did get close to 50% CBAs for the games that he did play. But I've still got hope. I think he just needs more opportunity, and he probably needs another year or two.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah.
Still got time.
Still got time. Plenty of time. Next one list. This one's good as well. Hugh Boxall.
I like Hugh Boxall.
Average 54.9 in the AFL last season, but 111 average in the VFL last season. And he only had one game under 100 points in the VFL, and that was his first game.
That's amazing. That's so good.
So he had good talent league numbers as well as a junior. And, I think just making your debut in your first year is always a good sign.
But where do you fit? Like, obviously St Kilda heavily recruited throughout the pre-season.
Yeah. So you got Nazaya, you got Windhager, you've got Flanders.
Steele's gone.
So there's a bit of a gap opening up there, but then what do you do with McRae? Does he still play in the midfield?
Yeah, McRae is a drop.
I think so. I'm dropping him
in a lot of keeper leagues. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it might not happen this season because if he does come in, he's probably fourth string behind their other midfielders, maybe even fifth string.
I'd only keep let's say I'd keep him in a 25 keeper. Like if you had like 250 keepers amongst the league, I'd keep him. If it's top 15, it's not yet. It's not yet here.
Yeah, exactly right. So, he's a stash option. You'd probably want to wait another year or two before he cements his spot and he could become a decent fantasy scorer because the makings are there for that guy. Harry Ralston's the next one. Average 51.9 in 2025. I think just that midfield looks pretty set between your Green, your Callaghan, and your now Clayton Oliver, who's currently injured, but I reckon he'll be back for round one. So, I think he's just another player that might get a few more opportunities but won't break out as a fantasy scorer in 2026. Did play some games up forward last season. So he's a stash for me because if he plays enough forward to get forward status and then breaks in that midfield in 2027, could be a good future option.
Again, junior numbers?
I think he was all right. Can't remember. He doesn't not one that stands out off the top of my head, but probably look him up. But I like to go off the dome. But anyway.
I like it.
Doesn't stand out in my brain anyway. The other one, Portman, Christian Moraes. Average 47 last year, but he'll be a handy winger, I think, one day, and probably maybe one of the better fantasy scoring ones.
I watch a lot of Port. He got a lot of games last year, and he's not the worst guy out there. Again, Jackson Mead. But, obviously there is some internal rating there in terms of, I know the coaching changeover has happened, but it'll be interesting to see how Christian develops his game.
There's been good reports from pre-season that he's going right on the track and looks like he's playing early on. And he was, He was one of my favourite. I thought it was a good pick by Port to grab him from where they got him, just for an outside type. Maybe not a fantasy type, but for an outside player, I think he's a bit of class, bit of quality.
If you put together a best 23 now, who are your wingers for Port?
That's a good question because we talked about this last week about Burgoyne trying.
Where is he defence or wing? I did see that.
For me right now, I think Burgoyne is there, and we usually put like Drew or Wines there, and they go.
The other push-out midfielder.
Yeah, they kind of usually go there. So that's kind of how it lines up. I think Moraes is close to being best 22. I'd need to see more of Jacob Ware as well.
I yearn for the days of Matt White on one wing and Jared Pollock on the other.
Yeah, they were nice times. But even like Miles Bergman back in the day looked like he was going to be that next winger, but he's kind of evolved into something a bit more than that, I think.
I did see the midfield discussion this year, from your content.
Yeah.
I'm just excited about that.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's going to go inside, so I don't think he's in a winning. So Premier Rays, I think he's very close to lining up on that wing for Port Adelaide come round one.
We didn't draft anyone in Sandsville Brodie really on the off season, so there's no one that's going to push him out from that best 23 at the moment.
Yeah, we took what's his face from the Magpies side.
Yeah,
name escapes me, but yeah, apparently he's all right. He could play, but again, he's probably another depth midfielder.
There's no big names coming.
Yeah, correct. All right, Sam Marshall was the next one on the list. Averaged 46 last season, but there's I think a few sub-affected games. They clearly rate him though because they started him in the grand final.
Yeah,
came off as the sub for Lockie Neal.
Not going to happen anymore.
But he was subbed in 6 of 11 of his games last season, so that's a pretty damning stat there. Still managed to get the 46 average up, so that's not too bad. Just as a junior, he was that genuine accumulator type. Just needed to lock down a midfield role at AFL level. It's the whole Brisbane thing with the midfielders. It's just a very deep midfield. But I genuinely see him as good enough quality to maybe overtake some of the midfielders in the next 2 or 3 years and demand a spot in that midfield.
Where's Dunkley at in terms of age? I mean, he
28,
must be...
Yeah, so
only 28.
He's the same as Jordan Dawson, I think. Yeah, so
all right, Brisbane, fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. But players like Berry, who I know is more out in a wing these days, but then I could see... because McCluggage is getting to, I think, about 27 now at the moment as well, which is not old, but it's more if some of these kind of youngsters develop, he could play on a wing and still be a very impactful player.
So many of them.
Yeah, so there's a few spots I could realistically see, and then obviously Lockie Neal taken off at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I can see 3 or 4 spots opening up in the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think someone like Sam Marshall will probably fit into one of those in time. But it's just going to be a long stash for him, though. That's all.
We need their salary cap, to really make them push players out.
Just the rules around drafting and things like that, and don't let them get so many good picks for so cheap out of their academies and that sort of stuff. Anyway,
unless it's Port and Dougie Cochran can come in for free.
But the thing is, we're going to have to pay through the nose for it.
I know.
We'll get him, but it's going to be a bit more
rules
expensive.
For some, not for others.
Correct. This always happens. Every time Port benefit from something, it happens. Sido Hawley, next on my list. Don't know why he's here, really. Just showed glimpses of halfback.
He had good numbers when he came in as a mid-season draft.
He had a couple good, really good VFL numbers, 100-plus average or high 90s average kind of guy. When he played on halfback, I think the second to last round, which was really round 24, but 23 for Essendon or whatever. Oh, no, actually was the last round of the season. He came in as a late inclusion and scored 70, I think, on that mark. So, and he had a couple 70 games. Throughout the season as well. So, if
got a couple of good tricks.
If he plays a halfback role, he's definitely the run and gun kind of distributor type back.
He's better than a 44 average.
I think so as well, but he just needs to lock down a spot, and I'm just not sure that happens anytime soon, that's all. Ben Campriali, I've got on the list just because he was a good junior scorer, and that midfield's deep. So
was he the better accumulator out of the two brothers?
He was the inside guy, and Lucas was the outside winger kind of guy. So, purely he's pretty much just here on fantasy numbers, but VFL numbers I think were okay, and I think he was close to debuting last season when they had all their injuries and stuff like that.
But again, it's the keeper draft after the initial draft where people might say he didn't play in his first year, maybe he gets thrown to the waivers.
Yeah.
If we're talking stash, there's worse you could do.
I'm talking pick these guys up with your 3rd, 4th last picks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
If they're there.
Yeah. Right at the end, you stash them because they're realistically. No one else at that depth is actually going to play for you this year.
And Ben would have gone higher in the initial draft last year.
Yeah, correct. And the other one's Josh Smiley as well. Just seems like he's always going to be injured. He's going to take a long time to get there. But wait a while for him because he's underage talent. And I guess with the hype that came with him, he's going to be a good player. He just needs to get fit and be able to train and play, really. Very important for an AFL player. We'll just quickly touch on the rookies. We won't talk about them too much because Matty DeSena and I did a whole about an hour episode on the rookies,
Love
plus
it.
a bonus episode for the members out there as well. And to mention, there will be a bonus episode today for the members as well, where we'll discuss a few extra players from all the categories.
Keeping me longer, mate.
Sorry
Make some
about that.
premium content.
Yeah, I'll make sure I'll pay you an added rate that I usually do. Anyway, Daniel Arnold is the first one. Kind of spoke about this before. I was kind of a bit cold on him just because, again, deep midfield, but watching the class that he is and the whole Lachie Neale situation, I think he might be coming into that midfield a lot quicker than we first expected. So Daniel Arnold is he was the highest averaging player out of the rookies this year as well. So
if you've got your pick, you've got pick one in this year's redraft of a keeper league.
Yeah.
Is he who you going?
If you want the best player long term, I think he's the one. Everyone's frothing over Sharp.
So Sharp's the sugar hit?
I think Sharp will be straight away. He'll come in and could be like a 75, 80 plus average guy.
Because the spot's there?
Yeah, correct. He'll just walk straight into the midfield. He's developed as a kind of senior player. Like, he's got a big body and that sort of stuff. He's played senior footy all last year.
Do you share with me the Dersma grey area? Like the fact that the Xavier and Zane... Zave has been a great player, but like neither of them have gone to great heights. Yeah,
I do like have some concern because when I watch him, he does look like another one of them because he's kind of a little bit taller, a bit wiry. Yeah. In a lot of his highlights, I reckon his best work came when he was taking marks across half back and stuff like that, and on the outside, and kind of taking off. I've also seen clips of like games where he's put up huge fantasy numbers, but I don't reckon he's hit the target all game.
But also, he's grown up in high quality sides, and that's not what he's gone into.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Like I still think he'll be better than the other two. Yeah, but Xavier's only an 80 plus kind of guy, and he was a first round draft pick as well in a very, very strong draft.
He was pick 12 or something like that. Yeah.
Pick one in a weak draft. It's probably a similar comparison, So I don't know. But yeah, I do. I'm less high on him than others. But
so Arnold
was one. Then I like Willem Dersma after him would probably be the next guy. And then honestly, I could toss a coin between Dersma and Sharp, I think, out of the midfielders this year.
So interesting.
So they're the three. Dyson Sharp, obviously, we mentioned him before. But yeah, big bodied, underage, played in the seniors as an underage player. Was South Australia's best player by a mile, and can put up a good fantasy score when he's playing against people his own age as well. Didn't score as well in the SNFL, but in under 18 stuff, he was pretty awesome.
You got to dive into those draft guides on the Keeper League podcast. That's like, to learn about rookies, that's my first port of call.
Yeah, 100%. So there's so much stuff on our website as well. Like, we've got all every score from every game laid out. Junior numbers is up there. It's on there.
So in depth.
Go check it out. There's a whole document discussing every player.
And what I love is for my keeper leagues where we are so deep and we're getting to who are the 60s that was taken in the draft, or the rookie draft, or
That's when everyone gets the keeper league at my drafts anyway. That's when I see all the other guys open up my drafty analysis.
You got to get the compendium, or else you are on a back foot.
Exactly. All right, let's get into some questions before we wrap up. Already answered that one earlier. The draft bar wants to know, is it time for Josh Ward to explode with Warple gone? I think more so now with Will Day gone, right? We've kind of touched on that one as well. And then someone actually asked thoughts on Will Day. I'm pretty sure they assume after he got injured. Had him since he came into the league, but it's hard to hold with the continual injuries.
Oh, it really depends how many you're holding.
We keep 12 in our league. And
if you're in a keeper league with 10, I'd cut.
Yeah, 12.
How many players?
What do you mean? How many teams?
Yeah, 12 teams.
12 teams.
So it's 144 keepers.
Yeah.
You'd have to keep him. I think the first thing I ask myself is, if I drop this player, are they getting picked up first round of the draft?
Yeah.
And if they don't make it out of round one, I think that is probably a good sign that you should probably hold on. Now, you have to do it the hard way. Your Jagger Smiths or, you guys that have had ACLs that you just know that are good long-term prospects, you're just going to have to take the hit.
Yeah. And if I look at the ADP, he's going at, pick 81 at the moment.
Right.
If you keep 144, it's you got to just bite the bullet sometimes and hold on to these guys because, I think it's when you start getting to seasons where that ADP is starting to drop to that range. So where it is the range of you actually dropping, that's when you start to think, well, maybe it's better to let him go.
Well, the hard thing is, he is a prospect with an asterisk. So you know that Prime Will Day is excellent. Can you hold to a point where he's you've rolled the dice on. He's had good 4-5 games in a row, so you can start putting him out as a trading prospect to someone who may take that bait.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. It's a tough own for Will Day owners, but you've just got to bite the bullet and you got to hold on. That's the only thing you can do, really.
Unless you're a super shallow keeper league.
Yeah, exactly. Then it's, put him back. S Winning 24 has got some trade chat. I think he's talking about trading out some picks here. So he's got third pick of the draft. So would you rather have them or the third pick? He's got the third pick in the draft, and he's wondering if he should trade out pick 3 for Elijah Hewitt or Joe Fonte.
As in, you're trading pick 3 for both those players?
I think he meant to take one of those players.
I think if
the value of both
how do you see
together?
the value of Elijah Hewitt and Joe Fonte? Would you rather have them or the third pick?
So
I'd rather have the third pick of the draft.
Yeah, I think I'd have the third pick as well. Like,
if you can get third pick of the draft for Hewitt and Fonte,
sharp in those kind of
I'm in
things.
keeper leagues where I would have to trade Zach Merritt to get pick 3 of the draft.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't be trading those guys out. Like, I think if you were drafting right and if Elijah Hewitt was there at pick 6 and he was the next guy that was there, I would think about that, Probably less so this year because he's...
But Joe Fonte isn't even on your radar.
No, Joe Fonte, he's... I do have him up in a bit of content coming up. I did have him in my stash of these players for the future.
But you're not picking him in the first round of the draft.
I'd be picking him up with one of the last rounds of the draft, I reckon.
100%. So yes, you're trading pick... If you can get pick 3 S Winning 24 for that, take pick 3.
Yeah. I'd be taking pick 3 and then taking, Azeka and Arnable when they're there, assuming that they'll take Dersmar or Sharp first. All right, let's go on to at BNichols17. Thoughts on what position you think should be the strongest line when contending for a flag? Does it really matter? Do you think?
Well, he goes on to muse that he doesn't think it really matters as long as you have a couple of big dogs.
I know, that's my notes.
Oh, that's you.
But yeah, should have put them in italics. Sorry.
Excellent.
I don't think it really matters, to be honest, though. Like,
that's what these notes say.
Yeah. I think what's more important is that you need the big dogs.
Yeah.
Like, you need someone like a Bont. You need someone like a Max Gawn. You need someone who's going to put up like a 110 plus score each week and you can rely on them. I think if you've got a couple of those guys, that is more important than any line or anything.
If you've got a big dog on each line, someone that you just know that you can put in, set and forget. Yeah. The hard thing is when you're looking at the forwards this year, there ain't a lot of big dogs.
But that's the thing. So, like, I don't think if you have a really strong forward line, that's really going to give you much of an advantage, though, because you just got a bunch of guys that are going to score 80. Like, let's say you spent all of your first 4 picks in the draft on picking forwards. You would never do that.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely not.
You'd be picking midfielders, you'd pick gun ruck, you'd pick a quality halfback distributor before you'd pick any of those. So, like, I just don't think it really matters as long as you're picking good scorers on the other lines.
And you also have players that are just playing every week.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
endurance, I think, is king, particularly in those last couple of rounds of the year where it becomes so much more variable in terms of who's taking the field.
Yeah, I think I lost my keeper league grand final. The difference was probably Bont. He had Bont captain who scored 140. I know Brody Grundy who got me 80, which is probably the difference.
My keeper league final was decided by me having Nick Vlosten who scored 3 points.
Yeah, I had him in the
Thanks,
prelim.
Nick.
Prelim the week before.
He went off at half time.
And that injury, that contest, he had no right going to as well. Like, he shouldn't have gone to it.
I lost by 40. Yeah, no, he scored 3.
I know they had a shocking first half. But anyway, I forgot my train of thought there. But
no, we're talking about most important position. I think endurance across the team is the most important.
Yeah, and I just think like it doesn't really matter as long as you got consistent high scoring players and go from there. Oh, sorry, the thing I was going to say was by the end of the year as well, like I'd had that many Doherty retire, I had Miles Bergman get injured, I had Boston get injured, like. It came to me where I only had the only player I had available to play on my field in my defence was Sadio Hawley in the final round. Like I was literally praying he
scored
got
a 70,
and he was a late in, and he scored a 70 for me. So like that was the thing. So yeah, depth is another huge thing when you're contending more so than having a good line, I guess. Jackson James asks: is Braden Fiorini found a scoring groove on the wing last year at the Suns? Can he keep that up at Essendon?
Wings team to team is such a variance in scoring. Really hard to know. Like, do you need to be a high scoring team in general to be a team that has consistent scoring wings?
Yeah. I don't think that translates, I don't reckon. Yeah, but if you look at some of the wingers out there and in good fantasy teams, like it doesn't always translate. But I think someone like Fiorini is very much an inside midfielder who has forced to go out to the wing.
Because he's not good enough to be inside midfield.
What Fiorini is very good at is just popping into holes and spots. Like he'll just kind of go from spot to spot and get that cheap little kick over the top. We saw that in a game against the Crows last year. I think he put up a huge score. Just playing on the wing and just outrunning other wingers and just getting to spots like that. And I think at Essendon, where there's a lack of quality, I think he'll just have a bit more free reign to do that. So
you see it as a fruitful change for him?
Not huge, but I could see him going from like an 85 to a 90.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Just because they don't have a lot of quality in that midfield. He's been picked for a reason. He's going to play every game. And it's just the kind of player Fiorini is. He's a fantasy scorer. You know what I mean?
He had just that one barnstorming period at Gold Coast.
Like if he was an inside mid, he'd be a 110 plus guy. But because he's an outside mid, he's a 90 guy. Or 85 to 90 guy, I think. So, yeah. He's a keeper for me in my top 12.
Really?
Yeah. He'd be my last picked keeper, but I reckon he's going to be... if I look at my midfielder... Wow,
that actually shocks me. I would not... he wouldn't be in a top 12 keeper for me.
No, he would for me. Just purely because I value midfielders...
As a mid only?
Yeah, I value midfielders in keepers. He'll be my M7, but he'll be an 85 plus averaging M7. You know what I mean?
That's a big call. Not for me.
Yeah, well, I'm more inclined to drop forwards that I don't are going to go lower, I think.
Yeah,
as well.
I'm considering keeping Shea Bolton.
That's what I mean. See, I'd rather keep a Fiorini over a Bolton.
Yeah.
You know?
I can deal with that argument.
I want points on field over, and I'm more than happy to kind of make up a forward or something like that.
Wow, that's a good. I love the difference there. That's great.
No, I'll be taking him. Yeah, that's where I'm keeping.
There you go, Jackson.
I'm keeping him.
Yeah, a little bit of hype there.
The thing is, though, as well, I've got a decision to make where I've got guys like Libba. Do I keep him even though he's getting
talk of the halfback line?
Yeah, exactly. Saw that. There's a few.
I get all my news from the Keep League podcast.
There's a few players like that in my side that's what kind of tips Fiorini into the
yeah. I mean, Libba's 34 as well.
Exactly. There's a few bits and pieces. Ben Blake asks, will Setterfield, is he a keeper option or depth only? So he got delisted and then relisted as a SSP. That's not a good sign.
I've got real beef with Will Setterfield because I drafted him last year, didn't get picked round one, I dropped his ass, and then he came back in and basically averaged 100 for a 6-7 week period there at the start of the year.
Yeah.
Is he a keeper option? So, I find it really hard to keep anyone that got delisted.
Perhaps they keep 28 players.
Then keep that man.
Yeah,
yeah, you got. If it's 28 players, then yes, he's got a high enough ceiling to do that.
He will play if people are injured. I think if they lose people or they want to rest some of the kids that they rotate through, I reckon he's the guy. So he won't play every week, I don't think, but I still think he'll get some opportunity. And only do it if you're contending. If there's a better younger player and you're not going to win the flag, there's no point. He won't be on a list after this season.
12 team, 28 keepers. That's gone pretty deep. You're into your 350s there. Keep him.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, as well. Anyways, I think that wraps it up for this week. Bit of a longer episode, so thank you for sticking around. You've got more bonus episodes to record.
Can't wait, mate. Yes, let's crack another one.
Keep around him. Like I say, if you are a member, make sure you check out the website. I think it's keepleaguepod.com.au/bonus episodes. I reckon the URL is, and you can watch the continuation, listen to the continuation of this episode. But Damon, where can people find you if people are looking for you?
Oh, mate, I'm all over the place. Let's just search DT Shiva because that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Registration's open Feb 1st, dtshiva.com.au. That's our portal there. But in the meantime, if you want information, join DT Shiva on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter or X. You can email me at dtshivacommish@gmail.com. If you are looking for a competitive league, if you are a draft coach that just loves it and wants to test your mettle against some of the best in the country, then DT Shiva is perfect for you. We'd love to have you as part of the community.
You can test yourself against the Div 21, 24.
The big hoofers are on the move,
Premiers, Champions League.
On the move.
Champions League. Anyway, you can get around our stuff at Keep League Pod on all the socials, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever they call it now. We're everywhere.
You're my TikTok boy.
I get a few likes coming out there.
Yeah, you're my boy.
When I'm at the gym, I get Damon Adams has liked your posts come through my ears because we're friends on there. But anyway, check us out there. Make sure you sign up as a member, get access to our bonus content and resources and tools and bonus episodes and extra content there as well. In doing that, you also support the show and keep it running into the future. So thanks for those people who do that. And check out the Keeper Fantasy platform if you haven't done so already, because it is
worth it.
The best in the business. You're not taking your keeper league seriously if you're not using the keeper platform, in my opinion. So go and check it out. Anyways, that wraps up another week. We'll talk to you soon.
Great to be here with you, Hef.
Thanks for coming. See you later.